Most of what you have been told about your own reality is a complete lie. Have you ever wondered why two people can experience the exact same event yet remember it completely differently? The truth is, your brain isn't a passive camera recording the world. It is an active storyteller frantically guessing what is happening outside your skull. Right now, light is bouncing off your screen, hitting your retinas, and sending electrical signals into absolute darkness. Inside that pitch-black vault, your brain constructs the colors, the depth, and the meaning of what you are seeing. Interestingly, it relies heavily on past experiences to fill in the blind spots. This means that your current reality is mostly just a memory of your past. But there's a catch. What happens when your brain guesses wrong? In just a few seconds, we will look at. To understand this illusion, we have to look at how sensory data is processed. Every second, your senses are bombarded with billions of bits of information. If your mind tried to process all of it, it would overheat and crash. So it uses a filtering system. It actively ignores the vast majority of the world and only pays attention to what is necessary for your immediate survival. This explains why you never notice your own nose, even though it is always in your field of vision. Your brain simply edits it out of the final render. This mechanism is known as predictive processing. Your mind builds a simulated model of the world and only updates it when something unexpected occurs. Essentially, you are living in a controlled hallucination that just happens to agree with the physical world. But how does your brain decide what this hallucination should look like? It relies on a massive database of your past experiences, cultural background, and emotional state. Every time you encounter a new situation, your mind quickly scans this internal archive to predict what will happen next. This is why two people can watch the exact same news broadcast and come away with entirely different interpretations. Your brain is literally highlighting the information that confirms what you already believe, while blurring out anything that contradicts it. This phenomenon, known as confirmation bias, is not a character flaw, it is an efficiency feature. Updating your worldview requires a massive amount of metabolic energy. To save calories, your brain prefers to stick with its original draft, even if that draft is fundamentally flawed or completely inaccurate. If you want proof of this predictive engine in action, just look at optical illusions. When you look at a static image that appears to be moving, your eyes are not malfunctioning. Instead, your brain is making a rapid, incorrect prediction about the geometric patterns it is perceiving. It assumes motion where there is none, simply because those specific contrast patterns usually indicate movement in the natural world. But there is a much darker side to this mechanism. When you are severely sleep-deprived or placed in sensory deprivation, the brain loses its anchor to the outside world. Without a constant stream of fresh data to correct its predictions, the internal hallucination takes over completely. You start seeing things and hearing voices. Your mind desperately generates its own reality to fill the terrifying void of silence. Now, let's talk about your memories. Most people believe that remembering an event is like pressing play on a video camera stored deep inside your brain. But neuroscientists have discovered that human memory is highly malleable and notoriously unreliable. Every single time you recall a past event, your brain actually rewrites the code. It pulls the file, opens it, and when it puts it back, it alters the memory based on your current emotional state and new information. This process is called memory reconsolidation. It means that the memory you have of your childhood birthday party is likely very different from what actually happened. You are remembering the last time you remembered it, like a photocopy of a photocopy. Your brain prioritizes emotional resonance over factual accuracy to help you survive today.
So, if your current reality is a hallucination and your past is constantly being edited, how do we ever agree on anything? The answer lies in collective agreement. Humans are social creatures, and our brains are wired to sync up with the realities of the people around us. When we share stories, build cultures, and establish laws, we are essentially building a shared hallucination. It is a mutually agreed-upon framework that allows society to function efficiently. However, this also explains why deep political or ideological divides are so incredibly difficult to resolve. You're not just arguing about facts, you're literally experiencing different neurological realities. When someone contradicts your core beliefs, your brain perceives it as a physical threat to your survival, triggering a fight-or-flight response instantly.
But here is the truly fascinating part. If your brain is actively constructing your reality, it means you have the power to hack the system. Because the brain relies on past experiences to predict the future, you can intentionally feed it new data to change its fundamental algorithms. This concept is scientifically known as neuroplasticity. Every time you learn a new skill, expose yourself to a radically different perspective, or practice mindfulness, you are literally physically rewiring the neural pathways inside your skull. By constantly challenging your own assumptions, you force the brain to stop relying on its lazy, calorie-saving default mode. You demand that it updates its internal model. Over time, this conscious effort changes what you automatically perceive as dangerous, safe, impossible, or achievable. You stop being a passive passenger. So how do you start taking control of your own mental simulation today? The first step is embracing cognitive friction. Whenever you feel intensely defensive about a deeply held belief, treat it as a glitch in your software, rather than an attack on your identity. Pause and ask yourself, is this objective reality, or is this just my brain's predictive engine protecting its old files? The second step is diversifying your sensory and intellectual inputs. Read books you disagree with, travel to unfamiliar places, and disrupt your daily routines. This floods the system with unexpected variables, forcing the brain to generate a richer, more accurate map of the world. Ultimately, constructing reality is an ongoing, lifelong project. The only question is whether you want to be the architect or the captive. This brings us to the ultimate realization about the human mind. If every single person on Earth is living inside their own custom-built neurological simulation, then objective truth is much rarer than we think. What you consider to be obvious common sense is just the specific hallucination your brain has perfected over decades. Understanding this is the key to true empathy. When someone acts in a way that seems completely irrational to you, remember that their behavior makes perfect sense within the reality their brain has constructed. They are reacting to a different set of invisible threats and rewards. By accepting that your own reality is a fragile, easily hacked illusion, you free yourself from the burden of always needing to be right. You transform from a rigid defender of your ego into an agile explorer of human experience. The world becomes infinitely more fascinating when you realize it is just a canvas and your brain holds the only paintbrush you will ever need. But what do you think? Have you ever had a moment where you realized your memory of an event was completely wrong? Or maybe you have noticed confirmation bias playing out in your own life? Let us know down in the comments below. We love reading about your personal glitches in the Matrix. If this video made you question your own reality, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs a perspective shift. And of course, do not forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss out on our weekly deep dives into the mysteries of the mind. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and always learn something new today.